What's up, everybody? DJ First Amendment, Lincoln Social Podcast. I'm out and about trying to get the most up-to-date news, the hottest, trendiest things, and keep all of our cannabis community brothers and sisters up to date. And today, I am with Jolie Moyer at the Sensible Movement Coalition, and she has got some stuff to share with you guys. Jolie, take over.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm here today to tell everybody that Ohio has some great news. House Bill 210 is now a thing. I need everybody to know that you can call and email your legislators in Ohio and tell them that you're interested in them supporting and co-sponsoring House Bill 210. As you know, we have been working on Sensible Decrim for several years in Ohio. And Sensible Movement Coalition has now decriminalized 23 cities. That's offering protection to over 2 million people from penalties for misdemeanor possession. And that's a huge thing for Ohio. So what House Bill 210 does is just equals the playing field across the state and provides the same protection for everybody, along with a couple extra things.
A couple extra things indeed. And let's let them know, what are the couple extra things, along with allowing you to take what millionaires are already making. There's a couple different dispensaries in Ohio, and they're making like record profits. They're killing it. There's patients in Ohio that are driving 2.5, 3 hours minimal in a direction or one or the other to get to these dispensaries. I was reading through it. It's going to lower the penalties for like possessions and for the plant and for the hashish, even for people who aren't having the medical card. That I think is definitely equaling and leveling the playing field.
Well, that's correct. And that's the difference between a traditional decriminalization and sensible decriminalization. With sensible decrim, we don't just lower the penalty. Ohio has actually been decriminalized since the mid-70s, but it hasn't really been effective because it hasn't stopped the conduct by the police criminalizing the plant. There's a huge racial disparity in Ohio, as there is in every other state, with arrests and convictions in regards to marijuana possession. The frisk, the search, and there is a movement towards decriminalization and depenalization across the country. Sensible decrim started several years ago by removing the penalty to the extent that state law allows. In Ohio, that means that the penalty is zero. As long as you are possessing a misdemeanor amount, there would be a $0 fine, zero court cost, zero jail time, and zero fine for paraphernalia possession. So we would like to provide that. I think it's 5 out of 6 of the largest cities in Ohio have passed that, along with several other cities. And millions of people are protected, but there are millions that yet go unprotected. And I think it's a great point that Ohio is a medical marijuana state now. And this would not only protect the patients, but it would also protect the people that can't afford a medical card, or the people that choose to not be a patient for some reason. It would just offer the same protection across the board as far as reducing the penalty to the full amount state law allows. But in addition to that, House Bill 210 would also allow adults over the age of 21 a 12-plant home grow. And I think that would be game-changing. That would help so many people that can't afford the medical card.
Can you repeat that one more time for the people in the back row?
12 plants per adult. And that's,
which is like in Michigan, 12 plants.
Correct, right.
You know, and that's groundbreaking because, you know, these millionaires, they have these big cultivation facilities and they're pulling all this electricity off the grid, straining the grids, and then they're charging for what costs them pennies to grow. They're $14 for a pre-roll.
Right. Well, I think there's a value to having dispensaries, but it's not an affordable thing for everybody. Not everybody has access to that. Not everybody even qualifies under the qualifying conditions. And I know that House Bill 60 right now is trying to add autism as a qualifying condition. I think that's very important as well. So I'm not really here to knock the medical program, but I am saying that home grow is essential.
Home grow, everyone listening knows this, and we need to spread the word. You support this. You need to write a letter, not just send an email. When you send them a letter, someone has to open that and they have to read that. So you need to send them a handwritten letter, say, I support House Bill 210 and I support you doing it. I would even be like, hey, this is what I want you to do. Do this. I'm going to elect you. I'm voting for you. You have my vote. I voted for you, helped get you in office. This will take every person that's autistic that's over 21 and give them automatic protections without ever having to see a doctor. This will take the people who are having alcohol problems and don't think that they have any kind of problem at all. They'll just be able to switch over to cannabis. People with drug addiction that get it right now, the same penalty and in the same trouble, the same time for cannabis as they are for these hard, illicit, life-destroying drugs. They won't have that anymore, and they'll have that as an alternative,
Right.
if they really need it. And we don't have cannabis addiction rehabilitation facilities throughout America because you don't have to do that. But every city, every town has a place where they're going and getting that, what is that drink that they take every day? What are those little dispensaries, those little clinics? Methadone clinics. There's a methadone clinic in every city, every county, every town has a methadone clinic for people that are coming off of drugs that were at one point in time prescribed to them from a doctor.
Well, it would be great if people had access to something that was a safer alternative to even help them with that issue.
So right
There
now
are
in
so many
Ohio,
benefits. Speaking of automatic, though, you just brought it up. It would also, House Bill 210 includes automatic expungements. And I think that's very important. I talked about the racial disparity in arrest and in sentencing, and I think that it's great that it offers that. That's very important. So this bill is great on several avenues. Um,
I know people personally whose lives they got caught selling weed at 18, and 12 years later it's still an issue with them with getting a job, with getting an apartment.
Sure.
I mean, for some reason, because you did something over a decade ago, they're like, oh, we can't rent you this apartment. Like, you're going to come in here, start trapping or something. And it's just crazy.
No, the problems follow people.
And you can't get no college loan.
It can affect
No
so many
college,
things.
can't
It'll
go
affect
in.
scholarships. It can affect financial aid. It can affect housing, child custody, immigration, so many things.
And as the melting pot of the world, so goes in Ohio, so goes the nation. This is 12 plants per adult in the household. That's what they would need to consume. It takes several months to make this happen. It's not something to just poof overnight. Somebody has a garbage bag of weed, and the amount of money that they're spending having to go to these dispensaries is, I heard, like $460 for just a baggie of it.
Well, I think 12 plants is a very reasonable amount because I think for people that don't really understand and that have never cultivated before any type of marijuana plant like this, it's not something that always comes perfectly. And a number of things can befall a home grow into where you don't end up harvesting 12 plants. You might start with 12 plants.
Like, give them some examples of what could happen if you only have a couple plants.
Well, I mean, like, even, let's just assume that a new grower starts with 12 plants and they start with some seeds and they grow them and they end up finding that maybe one of them didn't grow well. Maybe one of them didn't even grow at all from the seed.
So they were down to 10.
Right, right. There, one or two are losses. So you're down to 10, and you're growing them, and maybe you have overwatered. So if you've overwatered once, you could lose another, or stun its growth. So you could have problems like that. You can have problems with, as they mature, you find that you have males, and that's a problem. You're going to have seeds. You can't grow that. That's
Well,
not
and
the
the
type of
males
plant
don't
that
turn
you
into
need.
flower. You can't smoke them.
No, that's not the type of plant
They
you
just turn
need,
into
and
like
that's a loss. So that has to be taken out before it contaminates other plants, for lack of better knowledge right now. So without getting into a lot of details, you're losing several plants. Now, if you have other things that can commonly befall a grow, you could have mites or aphids. You could have pests. You could have mold, mildew, um, overwatering, underwatering, lack of sufficient light, a break in your light schedule, loss of electricity, um, anything, a thunderstorm. You could have a total loss. I mean, like, you just don't know what could happen. And it's not a for sure thing every time that you have 12 plants. So I just think,
so you need to be able to have that many
right.
for a cushion,
I think
for
that's
a buffer.
it's a very reasonable amount.
You know,
And some people will choose to grow 12 at a time, and some people might choose to 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 start with 6 and let them grow, and as they mature, start 6 more. So they have them at different stages. Um, but either way, I think it's a very reasonable amount, and I think that's why Michigan chose that. I think it's gone pretty well there. And this is not an adult use legalization bill. So I want to make sure that that's clear. That's a different thing. This is a decriminalization that includes a couple extra things, like I said, like the home grow and the expungements.
this is every time you talk to an officer and you're like, hey, it's just a plant. And they're like, talk to your legislators. Your legislators will change this, and then they'll tell us what to do. Well, this is the legislators hearing the word, sitting down with people and being like, all right, look, it is just a plant. We're selling it. People should be able to have that much and cultivate it and be responsible, just like they can brew alcohol at home legally as a hobbyist. And, you have your own little home supply of alcohol. You have a couple pot plants and you keep a lock on it, just like you lock your alcohol. And there you go. Like it just makes common sense.
Right.
And then the cops are going to be like, all right, well, this has changed. So now we're going to focus on rape, robbery, murder, and
I hope so. Yeah.
right. And, human trafficking, which is Ohio is one of the biggest human trafficking places in America, because in order to get to New York from Indiana, you have to drive through Ohio. So like people are driven through Ohio that are being like sold and trafficked all the time. And that'll enable them to, focus on that stuff too. And because right now they're under the understanding, I guess, that they need to crack down on this, and you guys kicking ass and getting the message to them, and then the legislators writing the language themselves. Game changer,
Well, the local decriminalizations have really been great in Ohio. And they, like I said, that started in 2015 with Toledo. And it's gone very well since then. Most of the major cities have done it. A lot of the other cities have done it. It's helped all the people that live there. It's helping the people that come in those cities and work and visit. But it's only helping them within the city limits.
So look into that part, everybody. This is for everyone in the world, not just Ohio. This will be your state next, but Ohioans. I am from Ohio. If this was happening there, this is why we're working so hard, and everyone's being so diligent to make this happen, because this should happen everywhere, especially where we're from. You're from Ohio. I would still be in Ohio there my whole life, but the medical cannabis and access has been an issue for so many people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this will really level the playing field fairly, change all the language, and make it the people's voices are being heard. The people that are there testifying all the time and giving testimony, and the people whose kids are autistic, you know, they're listening, and this ball is rolling. I think House Bill 210 is long overdue. How it should have been, instead of like, what was it, House Bill 543 or something like that. The House Bill 210 is perfect. Is 5 years overdue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Fairness and equality for Ohio.
I think House Bill 210 is better than Responsible Ohio's was.
I'm not getting into that.
I know you're not going to. And everybody, I want to touch bases. The Grower's Bible, there's a new edition. It's like a third or fourth or fifth edition of it. You can buy that book, and it will teach you how to grow. It's like 700 pages. You can read the parts of the steps. It's even color coordinated. So like to prevent that stuff and have issues. Not everybody will be wonderful at growing. Not everybody will be terrible. Some people have a better green thumb. So when you read this book, you know, anybody can do it. And I think a lot of Ohioans are going to start getting online. You know, go to Amazon and look up the Grower's Book. There's a new edition. It even has like LED stuff, color pages, and it'll teach you how to grow. And then once you're allowed to do it in Ohio, your lifestyle is going to improve, because then you're going to have your medicine. You can turn into RSO in just a couple minutes or hours, you know. You'll have your flower that you won't have to go and spend, you know, $480 for $500. And that's another thing. I think the opposition is going to be big pharmaceutical and the recreational places now. They're going to be like, oh, everybody can't grow. You can't grow. Not everybody's a grower. When I was testifying down in Ohio, it was always Ohio's not a growing state. Ohio has farmland everywhere. Ohio is covered in farmland. Ohio is one of the biggest farming states in the country. We are geologically located. It was like a High Times article said that Ohio and Kentucky had like the best seasons of winter and summer and spring and fall for growing in like the world, at least in our region of the country. You know what I mean? That area, Ohio and down there in Kentucky, is like the Emerald Forest. You know? It could be a Humboldt County state. You know what I mean? Perfect for it. And it's just a matter of how they're going to tax it and how they're going to regulate it. You know, I don't really feel they want to be like, all right, look, we were wrong. This is just a plant. We've known this. We were just a little racist. And, you know, we fucked up. You guys can have your dope now. You know, they got to, they're doing about it. I mean, but that's how they would bluntly do it, I feel. Because, you know, it's all obviously started.
Well, I think that legalization and decrim are trending across the country. I mean, there's changes every day in the news, literally every day. It's coming so fast now that it's hard to keep track of what's going on and where. There are bills all over the place. There are federal things going on federally. I'd love to see federal decrim coming. They said it would. We'll see. But in the meantime, people can make changes to their own local laws. Home rule allows for that. People can.
And people don't know that. Like, all they got to do is get off.
Local ballot initiatives. They can get signatures and change their laws. And that's how this began.
Section 2925.042 might change later. It'd be a number adjusted, but it says A, no person shall knowingly cultivate more than 12 marijuana plants. It's like, boom. Each person, there you go, guys. Look more into this, because this is big and coming.
This is really big, yeah.
This is really big. Like, I've been trying to get you to talk about this for weeks.
I'm ready.
Like 6 weeks. I'm so glad here we are. I feel every Ohioan's going to be like, all right, so where do we go from here? Well, you got to support it, first of all. So cool, we got you there. Now, we're going to have to get some addresses and just maybe jot down a letter, or you could hop on the computer and just print up a paragraph. my name is, I live at this date address. I'm a registered voter. I support this, and I'm asking you to support it. Sincerely, your name, and then sign it.
Right.
It can be that.
Very easy. Very easy. I mean, if anybody needs some help on how to do it, if you would like to volunteer in any way, get a hold of us at Sensible Movement Coalition.
That's where I volunteer at, guys. Like, I love normal, but I really love a Sensible Movement Coalition, SMC for life. Decrim, it's just sensible, and that's like a approach. It just goes out, bam, you know what I mean? Sign here. We'll get it on the petition, on the ballot, vote for it. And then as long as you go there and you vote and say yes, they see that, they get those numbers, and then the law is changed. And then no more complaining. Like, it does take some legwork. You kind of got to let yourself be known. You got to be like, I support this. And it matters to them because you're asking them to get up there and put their whole career and life on the line and say, I support that they support it. So you got to stand there beside them too. And that's why I recommend printing up the letter and mailing it to them. Because the email, I don't check my emails. And when I do, there's like 50 of them. And I'm like, 49 spam. One that I need to read. But I still have to go through all of them. So I would imagine they're getting millions of emails, let alone spam. And it'd be hard. And then it's jot down as where you send in a letter. It's printed. They got to open that envelope. They're making sure it's there. And somebody else is going to read it. Still email it too if you want. But please print that up and send that in, guys. Let's get this done together. There's going to be so many groups that are supporting this.
Right. Yeah, this is just beginning. We just got the House bill number. So the process is beginning, but I'm happy to be here and be able to give you the news bright and early.
Guys, House Bill 210, way more information to come. We're keeping it pumped out to you as fast as we can get it. Like, I couldn't get here fast enough. I'm like waiting for weeks on this. Like, when can we talk about it? When can we even just let people know that they're working on it? Like, I was being quiet, even happened to be. I was like, I'm just waiting and waiting.
Great. You did great.
I did
Keeping
good.
A cap on it.
Right.
We're ready to talk now, and I'll even be happy to offer a follow-up appointment podcast.
There it is, man. Jolie of the Sensible Movement Coalition. She's one of my favorite humans on earth.
Thank you. You're awesome.
I haven't figured out if you're like a kin of mother to me or kin of sister, all in one. Like, we're just one big happy family. And like collecting signatures, you inspire me to do like political stuff and give me advice and insight. And you're just so knowledgeable and friendly. How's work going for you?
Work is amazing.
Where do you work at?
As always, Narbona. It's awesome.
Narbona.
They're wonderful. It's a great place to work.
Okay, it's corporate weed, but it's good weed. I've smoked it.
It's excellent, and they're so awesome. They really are.
How do they treat the employees there?
They treat everyone like family, and I'm not like just saying it because I don't have to say it.
Right, I know. I'm only I'm only kicking you off the ledge because we've talked about it so far. And I know like
great,
5
honestly.
other people that work there too.
Like the other people that I know that work there too. Like everybody's cool. I really love it.
They treat everybody really nicely there. Like, I've actually like tried to find if there. I was like, well, is there any bad stuff there? Like, no, nobody's really had any complaints.
Right.
It's like, that's good.
Right.
You know, because I'm hearing all kinds of bad stuff about other places. They don't get any of our platform airtime.
I hear some stuff about other places, but like I don't know that much.
But I keep hearing like, oh, Nirvana is taking care of us, and then they got pretty good prices on pretty amazing weed. It's like, and you know, when I know like 5 people that work there, and they're all like, can't brag enough about the place.
Right.
I felt that they needed a shout out.
That is awesome.
Thank you. Shout out to Nirvana and how you guys take care of everybody. That's what it's all about. And thank you so much again for everything you do with the Sensible Movement Coalition. That's nonprofit. You guys don't get paid.
Totally. Right.
You're putting in hours and hours. How many hours?
How many hours?
So many hours. Every time I talk to you, like, you're on the phone about this, like making this happen. And the reason I got to bring this up is because you don't get paid. You get the satisfaction of our home state having what we have had to medically migrate to another state for.
Right. And neither one of us live there anymore, but it doesn't change the fact that the laws need to change there. And we know it. And I'm not afraid to work on it there or anywhere else.
Had House Bill 210 been, we'd always still been there, never even left today.
We would have still been there.
This is as good. This is amazing. This is fair. This levels the playing field. This is the future of America. This is future Ohio. Like 12 plants, read a book, learn how to cultivate it, have a lock on there so kids can't get to your stuff. Educate your kids. Let them, you'll know, like, this is medicine. We don't play with that. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, that's boring. I'm going to find something else. You know what I mean? Just like a kid doesn't go to your refrigerator and grab a beer when the Pepsi's sitting next to it and be like, oh, well, Bud Light's the same color. We educate the kids. Like, this is Bud Light. Read it. This is Pepsi. Read it. This is a plant that's mama and papa's medicine over 21. When the day you turn 21, that'll be your decision. You'll be able to vote for whoever you want, enlist in the army. This is freedom. This is ringing. This is like Braveheart moment for me of sharing it for Ohio. Like, Ohio! House Bill 210 is for you.
Right. It's just not dangerous. There's no reason to treat it like it is. If it's, it's not going to be accessible to kids anyway. It has to be properly locked and stored, just like other states require. And it's not a public hazard or anything. This is just a plant. And it's a plant that's so beneficial and vital for so many people.
I mean, kids have access to scissors. There's mom and dad's cigarettes are sitting on a table. There's knives in the same drawer as forks and spoons. Like, they know how to use a hammer. I mean, it's pretty, I think people need to have more faith that they're going to be able to teach kids, hey, and they're going to be able to see the plant. And think about it. Most kids don't even like tomatoes anyways, or they don't like spinach. And this is just like that. We're going to be able to educate the kids. And in Michigan, for those of listening that have never been to Michigan, man, their kids know what it is. They know not to fool with it. And just like they don't run around with scissors and they don't run around with
beers.
With beers.
Right.
Beer is the best example. And they ain't running around with cigarettes or none of that stuff. Like, cigarettes are proven to give you cancer, proven to kill you. Like, alcohol is proven to impair your judgment, but you can go get it at a bar, socialize, and leave as long as you're under a limit. As long as you only had one, you can blow okay. But if you had one plus a shot, you're probably going to blow dirty and they're going to take you in. But as long as you only had that little bit under, and this is, and they have laws for all that, and people aren't going to be out smoking and driving. They're going to be like, hell yeah, come over to my house. We can actually hang out and have life and socialize.
It's really, I mean,
we can be social now.
We both live in a legal state now. And you can see that it doesn't change the face of your city. It doesn't change anything. You drive around, nothing's changed. It's not like there's not people out like everywhere laying in the street smoking pot. It's just a normal city going about their normal business. You don't have an epidemic of kids on weed. There's no problems associated with it. We live in a legal state and it's business as usual.
There's methadone clinics everywhere, though, unfortunately, because of the opiates.
Well, that's a whole different problem.
It is.
Unfortunately, it is.
And I mean, and that's in every state, too. Like, whenever down in Kentucky, a northern part, and Ohio and stuff, I hear about some of the clinics being busy, and I'm like, man, if they could use cannabis as an alternative, they would be way more productive. They would work harder. And they could get off of the synthetic chemicals that are like changing their body and their mind.
If I'm not mistaken, I just read that Ohio is on their 6th straight month of record overdose deaths.
Wow, that's crazy. I love Ohio. It's my favorite state. And I love Michigan. It's my, like, I'm from Ohio. I'm always going to have love for it. Michigan has been amazing. They're so nice. I've met so many people like at these social clubs. at these dispensaries, the people in the normal groups, the people at the different cannabis events.
A lot of people here are really health conscious. I think it's awesome. Everyone's working out and outdoorsy and just
Yep.
really into like eating healthy, and it's very cool.
Right now, Michigan's our number 1 listening state, and then Ohio's number 2. And I really feel that Ohio, once they pump out, because there was a time when a lot of people might not remember this, but they were telling you, Ohio, to come to Michigan to get your medicine and drive back down there. Just be careful. Like the people who like were writing these bills and like are going to help push them through finally. Like there was a time when they were like, hey, go out there and cross that line and then just get your meds and come on back. And people were like driving to Colorado, and then they even had to drive 5 places so that their kids and stuff would have their medicine. And they're like, look, this is going to change federally eventually. It needs to. And we need to start changing it. Now Colorado's good. Pennsylvania's got medical. They're working on Florida. Like there's so many green states.
There really is, and it's more all the time, but it's still a patchwork. And I mean, it's a hazard for people to go on vacation.
Nobody can go on vacation.
Wow, that is true.
Not enough green states. Not enough green states. But it's nice that here, what's going to be awesome is Michigan's going to be like one of the biggest tourist places now. Because there's so many different places that you can go and you can get your stuff, and then you can go rent like an Airbnb and stuff. And you can go out for like a weekend on a boat and you can go fishing. Like I think nothing would be better than heading a kayak and having a doobie in your mouth, going down the river, looking at the amazing of life, the wind, the sun. Like, go fishing. Yeah, fishing's awesome. Fishing is the greatest ever. But have you ever caught a largemouth bass on weed, man? That's got to be even cooler. Sorry. Okay. So, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm so happy to be here.
I think that there's more to come. I'm sorry for the ramblings, everybody, but this is really exciting. This is Ohio. This is good. House Bill 210. Write a letter, send it in. I love you so much. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Love you too.
All right, guys. I hope you are writing them letters, getting the ideas in your mind together, and just simple. Hi, my name is, Bob. I live in Centerville or Columbus, or I live in Dayton, or I live in, Toledo and Cincinnati and I Milford and all these areas. And I feel that House Bill 210 is great for the people and fair. Please pass it and support it. Signed and mail it to them. The stamp's going to cost you like 50 cents, 30 cents. A little letter. Getting there, though, and them having this to read is going to be like what really gets done. That's good. That's what they want. They actually want these letters. Phone calls are great. Emails are great. But, man, when they get them letters coming in, then when they talk to their constituents and they're like, look, we need to pass this. And they're like, no, that's not, special interest said no. All right, well, the people are saying yes. The people are sending letters. The people want this. And we do want this. For our freedom of speech, for our freedom of religion, for our freedom, period. Nobody wants to be on a registry. Nobody wants to have a number. There's no reason you need my thumbprint or a picture or something like this. If tomatoes were such a good time, I'm sure they'd be tax regulated and withheld too. But it's not. So we got to finish breaking the stigma. We got a lot of work to do. Let's do it together. So I want to challenge everybody. Please write a letter and send it off. I'm going to print up some letters, and then I'm going to sign them, and I'm going to send them off. And I hope you do too. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for the love and support. House Bill 210. Shout out to Ohio, Sensible Movement Coalition. Like, I couldn't find even better. Like, that is 12 plants. 12 plants. Like, if 6 of them die, you still got 6 left. You did a great job. If 10 of them die, you still got 2 left. You're still going to feel accomplished. You're going to learn something. And you're just going to be able to, like, keep going and learn more, and then you could get better. But trust me, there's not going to be a big epidemic of people growing, like, 1,000,000-pound plants, because it doesn't work that way. I read big chunks of the book, and you take some time. You learn how to do it. Just like people grow roses, petunias. Some people grow corn, carrots. Some people, whatever, have like the prettier things. They'll be decent at it. Not everybody's going to be. Nobody is going to be no Pablo Escobar with no 12 plants.
No, not everybody's going to be a master grower, and not everybody's even going to grow at all, for that matter. Some people are going to choose not to grow. And it's going to also be required to have permission from the homeowner. So some people may not have the availability to grow, where they're at this time. But just like in Michigan and other legal states, not everybody grows. Some people grow, some people don't.
One thing I love is, like, if Bob grows, then if we only smoke weed at Bob's barbecues on the weekends, well, chances are Bob's going to have a couple doobies from his 12 plants. When you go over there, you just smoke it because it's going to be free to you're allowed to share. People are sharing and doing this every day in Ohio anyways.
It's just
like, now they're just not going to be criminals anymore.
Here. Nobody cares who's growing in the neighborhood.
Love it.
It's not a thing. They seem to be pretty strict on the dispensary business and things like that. There, you see, there's no problem at the dispensary. There's no danger. It's just a store. So,
and I think anybody that wants to grow should have that right. Sorry. And everybody that don't, they got that right. But it's not gonna, like, things are just gonna be even better. It's just gonna be a better thing to make Ohio an even better place and a fair. And then,
right.
It'll free up, like, that prison space. Nobody should be. Why would we throw people in jail for a plant when we could be going out and getting these bad guys that are breaking in and robbing and raping and stuff like that? We'd be filling them with them guys.
Right.
Yeah. That's what.
Free up the police, to focus on the real crime, because there's a lot of resources that are being put towards this. Most of the drug crimes are possession crimes, and it's just insane. The statistics are out of control, and it's far beyond time.
I was challenging everyone to type up a letter, print it up, sign them, and mail a couple out. I'm going to.
Absolutely.
And, just got to say your name, your address. It helps, that they want to know that you, like, where you live, or, even where your P.O. box or whatever the stuff is. You know what I mean? Especially if you vote for the guys, they have to be able to verify. You don't want to send them. Mickey Mouse does not support like that. We gotta be real about it. But these guys want to do this. They want to make this happen. They realize that this is good for society. This has been around for over 4,000 documented years. It's got to probably been way longer than that, and nobody's died from it yet.
Right. Well, the states that have done a partial decriminalization and not a full decrim, the problems haven't ceased. The problems haven't stopped. You really have to remove the penalty for the problems to stop associated with it. Like the, problems with the police and the racial disparity. It's just got to stop. And that's the easiest way to do it. It's so important, and it's so easy to call or email or send a letter. So if we just get people to start doing that and start talking to the legislators, start asking them to support it, then that's what we need to do right now.
You guys heard it here first. Spread the word. Print up some letters. Sign it. Mail them guys out. Share the podcast. Thank you. Like, subscribe. Please go to Podbean if you can and sign up on there as well. Spotify. Shout out to all the different Apple, everyone that's lets us broadcast to the world. Appreciate the people that are in like the different countries. I see some people are listening in like Europe. Shout out to people listening in Canada. All the different states. I think there's only like 2 or 3 that we're not in so far. Like Nevada, we're not in there yet. We're not in North or South Dakota yet. We're not in Idaho. I think we're not in New Mexico. But we're pretty much in all the states. We're not in California either, surprisingly. But shout out to everybody, that does listen and support. Everybody that's doing all this work. This is everybody putting in work. This is everybody putting in. Everyone is a piece of this puzzle. And this is a really big puzzle. It has lots and lots of pieces. And we're not going to have the full picture and be able to appreciate it fully if we don't all do our part and be a piece of the puzzle and make this happen. Please type up a letter, shoot it out, get a hold of Sensible Movement Coalition if you have more questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is like one of my funnest interviews because I was like, this session is going to be awesome. Shout out to Ohio. Shout out to Sensible Movement Coalition's been working on this so long, and plus it's been bothering me wanting to say, I didn't even know what to say for like 4 or 5 weeks or more. Like, there's none I could say, but I was like, waiting on that moment. All right, guys, peace and love. Shout out to the universe of the world. As goes Ohio, so goes the nation, is what they used to say. So this is it. Could be inspire senators in every state to do it.
That'd be great.
Let's get it.
Dr. Green, the only medicine for me. Cures what ails you and smells so sweet. Light up and lighten up, cannabis cures for sure. Tell all your troubles to Dr. Green. He'll say, take 2 puffs and call me in the morning. Since I'm your gold, you'll be feeling good for sure. A little green remedy is what you need. If you're feeling icky, roll up a little sticky and the gum on. It isn't very tricky. A little green remedy is what you need. Dr. Green, the only medicine for me. Cures what ails you and smells so sweet. Light up and lighten up, cannabis cure is for sure. Tell all your troubles to Dr. Green. He'll say, take 2 puffs and call me in the morning. Since I'm your girl, you'll be feeling good for sure. A little green remedy is what you need. If you're feeling icky, roll up a little sticky and the gum on. It isn't very tricky. A little green remedy is what you need. Dr. Green, the only medicine for me. Cures what ails you and smells so sweet. Light up and lighten up, cannabis cure is for sure. Tell all your troubles to Dr. Green. He'll say, take 2 puffs and call me in the morning. Since I'm a gold, you'll be feeling good for sure. A little green remedy is what you need. If you're feeling icky, roll up a little sticky in the gum on. It isn't very tricky. A little green remedy is what you need. Herb of the field will be meat for you.